Okay, I think I'm live now. Happy Thursday, loves. You if you've been following my stuff for the last couple of years, you know I'm always a little bit technologically challenged. Anyway, so happy Thursday. If this is your first time checking out my Facebook Live video, thank you so much for checking it out. My name is Dani LaBerry. I am a licensed psychotherapist and a happiness transformation coach. So I typically work with people who are feeling unfulfilled, unhappy, overwhelmed, anxious, stressed out, maybe a little depressed. Hey AJ, thanks for joining me. Awesome. So, if you didn't know, July is National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And usually I have been, for the last couple months, I've been doing 3 Facebook Lives and 3 Instagram Lives each month. So, a couple weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, I did one on the importance of minority mental health awareness. That was on July 14th. And then last week, I did one on minority mental health prevention. So tonight, we're talking about the benefits of good mental health. I love this topic and I love talking to people about this subject because as much technology as there is out there, I feel like we're still living in a society where we have a lot of people who maybe their mental health and their emotional health can use a little bit of improvement. So let's jump right in. Just like physical health is important, mental and emotional health is important too. And sometimes I give people an analogy of it's interesting how, say that you break your arm, God forbid, but if you did and you had it in a cast and say you had to go to physical rehabilitation, to exercise your arm, you can see when things are getting worse or when things are getting better, right? But for some reason with mental health, we don't see it as much. We just kind of disregard it and we don't notice how much of an impact it has on us. So my focus tonight is on talking about ways to really improve the quality of your life. I love thinking about how can we improve the quality of your life, because I realize if we focus on improving the quality, people tend to feel more fulfilled. They tend to experience more joy. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have stress in our lives, but we're able to manage that stress better. Taking care of our mental health can help with chronic physical illness. So if you think about, for example, heart disease, managing your stress can have a positive impact on things like heart disease. Even things like anxiety, if you think about managing your thoughts, it can alleviate things such as panic attacks. So even if you think about improving your mental health, it can also greatly improve your physical health and it can prevent chronic illnesses. So going into physical, as we're talking about physical right now, physical activity releases stress from the body. I always encourage my clients to check out the documentary Heal on Netflix. So if you haven't seen it, I would strongly recommend checking it out. It's pretty interesting. Exercise can reduce anxiety, mild to moderate depression. And if you think about back in the day, stress was more about staying alive, making sure you're not eaten by a bear or a tiger, right? So your cortisol level shot up when you were trying to survive. Nowadays, stress is more like making ends meet, bills, arguments with either a significant other or partner, co-workers. So stress looks a little different nowadays, and we don't realize that tension, fatigue, anger, when your body is holding on to the stress, when your muscles are absorbing the stress and holding on to it, that can cause problems. So something I want to mention that I love about exercising, and this was in my own journey of improving my own health, I noticed that when the reps got really hard, reps meaning a repetition, a set, I started to pay attention to my thoughts, and I noticed how when things get challenging, physically challenging, where does my mind go? Where do my thoughts go? Do I tend to say, oh my gosh, say I'm doing like a bicep curl, and it's kind of like, oh my gosh, Dani, this is so hard. I don't think we can do this. My trainer's pushing me anyway. And then afterwards, I end up feeling a sense of accomplishment because I just pushed myself to a mental limit thinking I couldn't do it, and I did it anyway. So it does something for you mentally and emotionally and physically as well when we push ourselves in sense of exercising and in that context. Something else that I wanted to mention, which was pretty cool, and I can't take credit for this, it's really from my trainer, is anytime I would see her, I would tell her, this is what's going on with me. This is what's going on. This is the stress that I'm dealing with. And if you know me, you'll know that I am a believer in the seven chakras. So, for example, your root, your sacral, your solar plexus, your heart chakra, your throat, your third eye, and your crown. And what we would talk about is, say, for example, my life has been shaken up, right? When it comes to my primary source of income, my job, that can affect my level and my sense of security. That can affect my sense of safety, which has a lot to do with the root chakra, which is at the base of the spine. So my trainer, I'm so fortunate for her. I'm very grateful for her and blessed to have her. She is very in tune with spirituality, intuitive eating, chakras. So based on what I tell her is going on with me, we design the workouts. So for example, she may say, okay, you know what, Dani, we're going to work on legs. We're going to work on your core. And what happens is when I work on those body parts, I walk away feeling so aligned and so grounded, and I relieve myself of the stress that my muscles and my body have been absorbing. So I definitely encourage you to exercise. Exercise stimulates the release of endorphins. You have a sense of euphoria. And listen, when I say exercise, I don't mean like you gotta go intense, okay? Even if you're doing a 10 to 15 minute walk a day, just move your body. I know one of my practice clients, she loves to dance. So now I think about a couple of my clients like to dance. So dance meditations, do that. If you're curious about that or you'd like more information, contact me and we'll talk about it. The first one was physical. The second one I want to talk to you about is eating right. Eating right does affect us, and it affects our mental health more than we realize. What we put on our plate becomes the raw material for our brain to manufacture hormones and neurotransmitters. So chemical substances that control our sleep, our mood, our behavior. If we shortchange the brain, we also shortchange our intellectual and emotional potential. So eating right contributes to our bodies getting the essential vitamins we need. So if you think about vitamin deficiency, we don't realize it, but vitamin deficiencies can lead to depression, mood swings, anxiety, agitation, as well as physical problems. Something I like to remind my clients is, think of your body as like a car, right? And what you eat and consume is the gas. And just like how some cars, right, need premium gas and regular gas, your body is going to operate based on what you feed it. So when we feed our bodies healthier, cleaner things, we have more energy, we have more clarity, we're more focused, we're more present, we're more productive. We don't realize how much what we eat impacts our mood, our mental health. And I'm speaking so strongly about that because I was one of those people. I used to drink a lot of energy drinks because I was tired all the time. If my mom watches this, she's probably going to kill me. I used to eat Cocoa Krispies. I love Cocoa Krispies. It makes the milk chocolatey. So, all these things that seem like it's not a big deal. It's not, whatever. But it does. It affects us. I noticed when I used to eat that way, my anxiety, it was very hard for me to manage my anxiety. I was depressed. I was very sad all the time. My mood fluctuated. I used to get sick all the time. I was tired and exhausted all the time. And I remember at one point I thought I was anemic, and I went to the doctor and got blood results, and they told me my numbers were normal. Didn't realize it had a lot to do with what I eat. So my suggestion, fresh fruits and vegetables, foods that are high in omega-3 fatty acids, such as fish, nuts, seeds, eggs, protein, whole grains. I like to give people the analogy of shop the store on the outside, because the outside of the store is what has the fresher things, right? Everything in the middle of the store, preservatives or in a box, we want to try to avoid those as much as possible. Taking control, my next point is taking control of your stress. I remember I used to talk to someone who would say to me, Dani, this was years ago, once I finish college, then I'm going to be happy. And they finished college. Once I get my job, my Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job, because they used to be a bartender, I'm going to be happy. And once I get this, I'm going to be happy. Once I do this, I'm going to be happy. I'm not going to have any stress. Unfortunately, I hate to break it to you, but we're always going to have stress. There's always going to be stress in our lives. So it's about managing it. It's not so much as making it go away or wishing we didn't have it. We're always going to have it. So it's about how we're responding to it. So I want to mention that stress can be defined as bereavement stress, like for example, difficult life events, illness, and positive ones, like for example, getting a job or a career change. That can also be a stressor too. So keep that in mind that with stress, there's a variety of stresses. I know sometimes we kind of tend to think of like stress as like a negative thing or a bad thing, but you also have good stressors too. So learning to effectively cope with stress can ease our body and our mind. Chronic stress has debilitating effects on our overall health. So I'm going to name some when we're persistently stressed, these are some of the things it can cause, all right? Decreased concentration and memory, confusion, anxiety, irritability, just feeling really agitated, and a lot of fear. So my first tip is first identify and recognize what is stressing you out. What is the source of your stressor? Because sometimes we kind of run around, I'm so stressed out, I'm so stressed out, but I haven't really sat with myself to see what's the source of my stress? Where is this coming from? Most of our stress actually comes from within us. I hate to tell you that. So if you think about how we interpret things, conversations, perceptions, negative self-talk. So now I'm not saying all of the stress, right? Because we do have external stressors too. So what are my suggestions? Okay, external stressors can be managed over time and with the support of family and friends. I cannot emphasize the power of a strong support system, okay? Everyone, including myself, has been going through a lot of things right now with this coronavirus, the pandemic, affecting incomes, affecting bills, affecting the livelihood of many people. So I want to mention that getting through things that we cannot control, the best way to do it is relying on our support system, because in relying on our support system, it helps carry us through that time when we just feel like we cannot carry ourselves. It's so important to have a strong support system. I'm going to mention something about this a little further later on. Internal stressors. That requires changing your thinking, your perception, your attitude, your behavior. So let's go into my suggestions, okay? The goal is to cue relaxation response. I have a stressor, boom, what's my relaxation response? How am I going to cope? What am I going to do? Learn relaxation techniques, breathing exercises. For example, I like to teach my clients, there's different names for it. I've heard it called box breathing or square, or you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4, breathe in for 4, hold for 4. When I say for 4, meaning a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. And the reason why I suggest that to my clients is because you're so busy focusing on your counting and your breathing, it gives your mind and your thoughts a chance to relax and not think about whatever's stressing you out. So that's a breathing technique. Meditation is so, I wish people realize, I feel like people underestimate the value of meditating and quieting your thoughts and quieting your mind. It really does have a huge impact on mental health. Set realistic goals. Learn to say no. I can't tell you how much of my stress came from overcommitting, telling people yes when I really meant no. So that's another thing too, is learn your boundaries. What are your boundaries? Are you overcommitting yourself? Exercise, right? We talked about that earlier. Enjoy yourself. Take time for hobbies. Do things that you like doing. Do things that you used to do as a kid. I know last night I was playing Tekken 3 with somebody, and it was a lot of fun, and I haven't played that since I was like 12 or 13 years old, you know? Do things that bring you joy, no matter how silly they seem. Okay, the next one's visualization. If you have Netflix, check out The Secret. It's very old, okay? I'm not going to deny that. I think it's a 2009 maybe, but it talks about visualization. Really visualize yourself succeeding in the situation that you're in. Embody what that is like. Because, you know, I tell myself, as someone who has a tendency to suffer with anxiety, we go to the negative. What if this doesn't work out? What if I can't make it? What if I can't Yes, but Dani, what if we can? What if we can make it through? What if we can do this, right? The same voice that's telling us those negative things, it's the same voice we could train to tell us those positive things. Maintain a healthy lifestyle. Eat well, like I was saying earlier. Cook a meal instead of buying yourself food. I know that seems a little strange, but not strange, but silly or just kind of simple. But doing things that take care of yourself and feel good for yourself, they do help soothe you, right? So think about, like, for example, if I'm stressed out and my mom makes me food, right? It's kind of the same thing. Like if my mom is making food and it's out of love and care and, like, just it helps. It's like a gesture of consideration or love or care. In that same way, we could do that for ourselves too. Cooking a meal for myself helps signal to myself that I'm taking care of myself. We can do this. We got this. And the last thing, my last suggestion, talk about it. Okay? Don't internalize it and keep it to yourself. Talk about it. My caveat, though, to talking about it is choose carefully who you talk to about it. I'm very fortunate, like I said earlier, I'm very thankful for my support system. I have such a great support system. As a therapist, many of my friends are coaches and therapists as well. So rather than making the situation worse or creating more drama or chaos or, like, I can't believe you're in that situation, or how could you, they coach me through it in a way just naturally because that's what they're very good at doing. But they help me get through it in an effective way and not sit in it. Okay, so when I say talk about it, I don't mean just pick any random person, because sometimes we talk about it with somebody and we end up leaving feeling worse than when we saw them, right? So pick people carefully. Choose carefully is how I should say it. Choose who you're talking to carefully. And piggyback on that note, I would encourage you, if you're talking to a support system and it's not enough, I would encourage you to reach out for professional help. Okay, so if you're watching this video, and I always say this, if you find that this information was helpful, please share it. Family, friends, anyone that you know that's maybe been having a hard time, especially with everything that's going on right now. People are really having a hard time. Someone that I knew recently, I believe, I don't know for sure, but I believe they committed suicide. And I've been noticing the rates of suicide have been going up, the rates of anxiety and depression, because people are sitting with their thoughts. So please share this video if you have found it helpful. And if anything came up for you in watching this video, or if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Again, my name is Dani. My email address is Dani, that's D-A-N-I, at DaniLaberry.com. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and a happiness transformation coach. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out my video. I hope that it was helpful. Take care of yourself and have a great rest of your night. Bye.